proud former Islander. What happened on this day? 1980.
1980, one of the greatest teams in the history of professional sports that no one ever talks about. I mean, seriously, that was my biggest pet peeve. Before you
explain the pet peeve, this is Henning to Tonelli to Nystrom for the Stanley Cup in 1980. Started off a run of 4 straight Stanley Cups that happened
today.
One
of the best dusters in the history of the sport, too, by the way. Bobby Nye, that mustachio, terrific.
Yeah, he had the flow, too. He was original with the flow.
Lauren Henning was a great assistant coach, too.
Terrific, first of all.
One of the best guys. I played with
hands down, one of the best people you'll ever meet.
I actually played with his son in the U.S. program.
Right. His son went on to play at
Notre Dame.
Yeah. Right. That's
had back problems, though.
Very good.
Bad.
And by the way, Tonelli, John Tonelli, his son plays with my son, with the Islanders now, Junior Islanders. Zach Tonelli. He's a good player. Really good player. Good forward. So anyways.
But it was always too bad that there was no connection, though. That was my biggest pet peeve. When I first got drafted
as far as the lineage of the
you never saw
great
those guys
teams,
for the most part.
That was Milbury, though. He didn't want that. He felt like they were living in the past too much, and it was time to move forward and create new history, which,
hasn't really worked out.
No, hasn't been much new history since then. But still, one of the great teams ever, and nobody talks about them. It's a book I got to write. First of all, that team was a fun team, but the 81-82 Islander team, if you look up the numbers, one of the greatest teams ever in sports, and you can't possibly build a team like that ever again because in salary cap era and how much money players make, you wouldn't be able to afford it. 16 players played on all 4 Stanley Cup teams. 16!
They almost blew that thing up, too, before it even started.
That's correct. Before they won that cup, they almost blew that up. And one of the trades they talked about, this is a true story, Bill Torrey told the story, that he actually had talked to the Oilers about trading, which player was it now? I don't think it might have been, no, it wasn't Bossy, but it was one of their high-end players for Mark Messier. Before they got Goring, they had talked to the Oilers about Messier, because Messier early in his career, they weren't sure if he and Gretzky, if it would have worked before the Oilers became the Oilers. Can you imagine if Messier started his career at the Islanders?
No.
Amazing. No, I know you can. I know you can.
They do have the best stories of all time, though. I could sit with Billy Smith in the room and listen to those stories all day long.